It's so much fun. I promise.
Why is it always me and my intentions in question? Hi guys, welcome to Coffee and Cringe, where I tell you these shocking and embarrassing things that keep me up late at night and needing more coffee in the morning. Today we are drinking cold coffee. Not cold brew. It's cold because I forgot about it and now we're gonna drink it. Today we are going to be talking about high school. And to fully visualize what that meant for me, I'm going to give you just a little montage of pictures so you can understand what a horror I was in high school. Alright, I think you got the picture. The time that a goat got a little frisky with me. I didn't have a fourth class in my last semester of high school because I had all the credits that I needed, and I thought that this meant that I could just go home. That I could just go home and do whatever I wanted, but my high school thought that that would be too much fun for me. They thought that was unacceptable, so I had to take another class, and the only thing available was Ag Mechanics. Ag Mechanics turned out to be my favorite class. What we did most of the time was learn some useful shop information, but also take care of animals and things like that in the barn. Included baby goats that we would dress in footy pajamas and feed from little bottles. It was excellent. It was so much fun. Well, they also had full-grown goats, and the first time we were introduced to these animals, our teacher brought us into the barn, lined us all up, and was telling us different things about the goats and what we'd be doing to take care of them. Well, immediately after we lined up and the teacher started talking, a huge black goat came up and bit me right in the vagina. Just full on, put the whole mound in his mouth and just kind of like, just a little bit. I wasn't hurt physically, but that incident haunted me. You can imagine what kind of jokes ensued. The next thing I want to tell you about is sports related. So besides the nickname Spaz, which I earned myself in tennis because I couldn't manage to think before doing for some reason, so I was just darting this way and that way and always the wrong way. Coach gave me that name. Swim team, I earned the nickname Belly Flop. So I could not dive into the pool without belly flopping. I don't know what was wrong with me. I still don't know what's wrong with me. But in order to accommodate this quirk, my team was really cool. When we were at meets, every time I would dive into the pool, they would all start clapping and cheering to hide the sound of my belly flop for me. Very embarrassing. Kind of an endearing story, though. Not the worst one. The next one involves high school puppy love. No one really wants to revisit or talk about their high school puppy love because it's pretty much unanimously embarrassing. There's always some embarrassment involved because we're stupid and young, especially for females, because we romanticize everything and we just do some dumb shit. Intense hugging. I don't know why, but every time class ended and my boyfriend was waiting in the hallway for me, I couldn't just walk up to him like a normal human being. I had to make a huge show of it. He'd be waiting in the hallway, unsuspecting, minding his own business, and I would literally full on charge him and like hug him aggressively. Just so aggressively. And of course he's, got his eyes darting around, like hoping no one sees, and he's like, "Can't you just hug me like normal?"
That was a telemarketer.
In my stupid mind, I was like, he likes this. He's just a boy. He thinks it's a little embarrassing, but he secretly likes it. No. So eventually it got to the point where teachers said that we weren't allowed to hug anymore since we couldn't do it properly. It was me that couldn't do it properly. Me. Freshman year of high school, they were doing a school play, and theater was huge in my high school. Everybody did it. It was the way that you hung out with people after school. It was something to do, because when you live in a small town, there really isn't much. So I wanted to do that. Join theater and, just kind of like have fun. I wasn't serious about it. But I needed to audition, and everybody was auditioning for certain parts, so I decided to audition for Belle, the only song or part that I knew from the movie. Apparently I did extremely well. I don't know about the acting though. There was a good amount of people that wanted me to get the lead. It was pretty much already decided who was going to be the lead, and it was completely fair. Like, she knew what she was doing. She'd been the lead in the play the year before, and it was her senior year. There had become a little bit of a fuss between the people that thought I should be the lead and the people that knew that she was going to be the lead. I didn't care. Me, didn't care. The end. I just wanted to have fun. But something really embarrassing would happen later because of this squabble. It was probably the third day of practice, and roles had not been assigned yet. I was in the room, and I didn't understand their theater practices. Most of the people that were in there had done theater before. There was very few freshmen. And so I go in there, and they're having people line up, and she's like pointing at random people and saying, line up and sing this part. I couldn't tell if she pointed at me, and I didn't know if I was supposed to go up, but I did. And she had everybody in the line, one at a time, singing a part of Belle's song. When she got to me, due to all the drama and the weirdness, I was like, am I supposed to sing this, or do you want me to sing something else? Because I didn't want there to be any confusion about my part in any of that drama. She grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me up in front of everybody and said, I just want to make this perfectly clear. We already have our major roles assigned, and if you don't like that, you can just leave. And when she said, just leave, she looked me in the eyes.
You can just leave.
And I immediately just start tearing up and I leave. That came with a mixed response, because some people thought I was tearing up and leaving because I wanted to be Belle and I wasn't. And then other people thought that I was just embarrassed. Homeroom teachers like to do bonding activities. If you've never done any of these things, there are certain games you can play to kind of break the ice among a group of teenagers. And one of those games is called the ha-ha game. Everybody lays on the floor with their head on someone else's stomach in a circle, and one person will eventually start laughing, and then everybody's heads is bobbing and everybody is laughing. So I didn't understand it back then, and I still don't understand it now, but that was a game that we were forced to play. And as I have my head laying on this guy's stomach, he looks at me and he says, smile like a donut and peck like a chicken. So I do it, because I don't know what he means. And he starts laughing. Other people start laughing, but pretty much everybody was already laughing at this point, so nobody noticed. But don't worry, I still managed to continue to embarrass myself. I was doing this intermittently throughout the day, still trying to understand what he meant. So imagine me walking down this hallway, walking down some stairs, sitting in a classroom, smiling like a donut and pecking like a chicken. I go home, I get on MySpace, everybody remembers MySpace, and I message him. I find him and message him, and I'm like, well, what do you mean? What did that mean? Because honestly, he's really cute and I wanted to message him anyway. But then he tells me what it means. And I am mortified. As usual. My mind just goes back to all those times I was sitting in class, practicing it, and walking down the hallway, waving to people as I'm doing it, smiling like a donut, pecking like a chicken. Horrible. The next story is... yes, it's embarrassing for me, but also it was quite embarrassing for the person that was involved. I used to help my boyfriend trim up his hair. He used a certain number guard on the sides of his head, and you could just go through and trim it up, and it would look great. It was super easy. Well, it was towards the end of high school, and naturally everyone is looking for colleges. They're going to these meetings with college officials and, interviews and meeting people. And he had a really important one coming up, so he wanted me to trim up his hair for him. The guard broke and fell off of the clippers as I was going in, and I couldn't even stop myself. It was already happening. So I really just took a giant chunk out of his hair, and it was a whole ordeal. His mom was mad. He was mad. They thought I had done it because I didn't want him to go to college or something. They thought it was completely purposeful, and they had to have a sit down with me and my mother and talk about this, about his hair, because the guard broke. It was awful. Why is it always me and my intentions in question? Alright guys, if you enjoyed this Coffee and Cringe, I will see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe. I also stream on Wednesdays and Saturdays if you'd like to watch me play horror games really terribly. It's so much fun. I promise. Bye. Bye. Bye.